So the year 2022 is finally at a close, and we are now in the year 2023. Happy New Year to everybody. Here we have two fragrances that were released in 2022 towards the tail end of the year, and they are from the Greek brand Theodoros Kalotinis. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on these two fragrances, which are called Velvet Chocolate and Symposium, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these two brand new fragrances that were released towards the tail end of last year, Velvet Chocolate and Symposium, I do want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if you took something of value from today's episode. It would really mean a lot to me. So these are two fragrances from a brand that I have a lot of experience with ever since some of their original releases. Like I believe there's one called 1989 and a lot of really great ones. I had done a video on those many years ago. Here we have two brand new fragrances to sort of ring in the new year, and we have a gourmand and we have a really well done amber. And I was really surprised by the quality of both of these fragrances, although I kind of expected it in a sense because I've reviewed and I own many of their other fragrances, and one of my favorites for a long time has been Coffee Addict. If you're a fan of coffee-based fragrances, you really must try that fragrance. So here we have a gourmand direction and amber direction. I'm really excited to give you my comprehensive thoughts on both of these fragrances in today's double feature video. Let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. So the first one that we'll talk about is Velvet Chocolate, and this is a gourmand lover's dream and delight. If you're a fan of the note of chocolate, I know there's a lot of chocolate fragrances out there. Some of them are really sweet. Some of them, like Chocolate Greedy by Montal, kind of has like this Ferrero Rocher vibe. And then you have other fragrances like Symphonium by Xerjoff. I almost said Symposium because that's what I have in front of me. That is more of like a chocolate and orange fragrance. And then you have Chocolate Queen by Navitus Parfum. Although that fragrance, with the absence of florals and the presence of woods, goes in a darker direction. Here we have this beautiful decadent gourmand that has chocolate. It also has cocoa and it has vanilla alongside tonka bean. So it has a lot of beautifully delicious gourmand notes. And this smells like homemade chocolate brownies. Like you're baking brownies in the oven and you mix the batter yourself and you're adding in the vanilla extract just to give it a little bit of flavor. And it just has this beautifully rich, delicious gourmand appeal to it. It really feels like you can eat it. If I put this in an oil diffuser and I put this in my kitchen, it smells so realistic that if somebody were to walk into my kitchen with the oil diffuser on, they would say, "What are you baking? It smells delicious. When's it gonna be ready?" I mean, it has a very realistic smell to it. And I love this one. I know people around me would really love this one if I were to wear it. And I do plan on wearing it, certainly, but it definitely has this sensual, romantic vibe about it. So I definitely see myself wearing this maybe on a nice dinner with my wife, or a night out on the town, or if I'm going, maybe to like a party or something like that. When we're talking about Symposium, this is definitely the darker of the two, the more sophisticated of the two. Velvet Chocolate is very fun and precarious and whimsical. Now this is very posh, elegant, and urbane. So we have a fragrance that has, oh my God. So I initially thought that it had tobacco in here because I connected it to another tobacco fragrance that I have in my collection. Looking at the note breakdown, it's not actually tobacco. There are some green ingredients. Yes, certainly there's patchouli in here, but there's a lot of labdanum in here. There is amber in here, some woods as well. Kind of this dry, elegant, sophisticated vibe. It actually reminded me a bit of Tobacco Supreme by Vivamore Parfum. So if you've ever tried that one, it's a brand new fragrance. They're both brand new, so they kind of give off a similar vibe to one another. But this fragrance, it's just, and I'm sorry, like even as I'm smelling it now, all I smell is the chocolate coming off of velvet chocolate. So it's hard to get a good assessment of this as I'm just smelling the test strip. Thank goodness I wore it a considerable amount so that I prepped myself for this review. So this is a really wonderfully done amber that's on the dry side of things. It's not sweet. There's a touch of sweetness in here. The labdanum does carry forth with it a nice bit of sweetness, but there's enough of this woodsy, patchouli, even pseudo-tobacco vibe that gives it this sort of professional vibe, this professional quality about it. Perfect for an office type of a fragrance, especially in the colder weather. Don't overdo it. It is a long-lasting fragrance. It will give you in the vein of 7 to 8 hours longevity. So if you want to do like 3 or 4 sprays, I think that's totally enough. Same thing can be said about Velvet Chocolate. All of the fragrances that I've tried from this brand have been really long-lasting, very high quality as well. So I'm hoping you have the opportunity to either sample or try these in person if you have that pleasure or that privilege. These are wonderful fragrances released in 2022. A nice variety of different smells, 2 different DNAs to explore. Hope you can try them soon. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, certainly there have been a lot of, amber fragrances on the market, a lot of chocolate fragrances on the market. This is a very realistic chocolate brownie or chocolate fudge cake type of a gourmand that doesn't have all the extra fluff to kind of, put it in a floral direction or a woodsy direction or an orangey direction or what. Is just gourmand ingredients through and through. And I think that's what makes this one of the best gourmands that you can get your nose on in 2023. And then we have Symposium, which is also very unique. A few connections made to some other tobacco-based fragrances or perhaps even amber-based fragrances, but it has this very dry, professional demeanor that also makes it an office-friendly fragrance. Longevity on both of them was about 8 hours. The projection on both of them was about an hour of radiating within an arm's length. It didn't become an elbow's length scent until hour 5, and it became a skin scent for both of them right around hour 7 or 8. I would say Velvet Chocolate probably lasts an hour or 2 longer than Symposium, but the difference is really negligible. Versatility on both of them. Both are perfect for the colder weather. I think Velvet Chocolate is probably the one that is more on the unisex side of things, whereas Symposium is probably a little bit more on the masculine side of things, but I do find them both to be quite unisex. At the end of the day, wear what you want, wear what makes you happy. I think Velvet Chocolate is probably the more youthful one and the more playful one. Symposium is the more refined, sophisticated one. So think about that in terms of seasons as well. You can wear Velvet Chocolate casually. Symposium is definitely a formal occasion type of a fragrance, but I can see myself wearing Velvet Chocolate on a date. I think Velvet Chocolate is also the type of fragrance I can see catering to a younger crowd. Symposium is more suitable for an older crowd. And I think, like I said, both of them are great for the colder weather. If you're wearing it in a climate-controlled environment, wear it whenever you want. And in terms of the presentation, simple presentation in terms of the box, but I do like the differentiation between the wooden cap and the plastic cap. My final verdict is these are 2 wonderful fragrances to round off 2022 and to allow us to embark into 2023. Very high quality, 2 uniquely original DNAs. Try them if you can. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. We have Velvet Chocolate and Symposium. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell and give this video a thumbs up. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.